Do we make society, or does society make us? Chapter 7. In our modern society, we are all part of a social contract. We necessarily give up some of our freedom in exchange for the opportunity to live together harmoniously. The challenge is that we don't even realize that we signed up for that. Society is complex. Is it comprised of individuals, or does it precede individuals? Do individuals make society, or does society make individuals? Everyone is born into a society, so society exists of itself. Of course, it cannot exist without people. However, there are no people who were not born into a society. We all live with social facts, those elements of society that shape and mold our behavior. Our laws and ways of conducting ourselves are a social construct, and there are consequences for not staying inside those guidelines. They allow us to live and work together in a peaceful manner, but we don't all see it the same way. The rich see the world one way, the poor see it another way. Men see the world one way, women another. Religious people see the world one way, non-religious another. Everybody has a different perspective, and no one way is objectively correct. We can only make judgments based on the availability of data and our understanding or perspective of that data. In society, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. You didn't get to choose your nationality, your native language, your position on the social ladder, your family traditions, your religious beliefs, your skin color, or your natural abilities. They are a part of the backpack you started your life with. Yes, we might believe we have options as we get older. However, we find that the structures of the society we live in either impede or facilitate an individual's movement through that society. It takes a focused effort and a clear understanding of who we are to move from one genre of society to another. There are emergent properties in society that are not always immediately obvious. Emergence occurs when a complex entity has properties or behaviors that its parts do not have on their own, and emerge only when they interact in a wider whole, like the distribution of food across the world, or the influence of different cultures on musical styles and clothing. They only emerge when the different parts of society work together harmoniously. There is a dynamic element to society. It is a living process, just like we are. There are many ideologies at work, many agendas at play. They move people in certain directions and impact how we live. It is not always easy to identify them because they are emergent qualities as opposed to solid states. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So, as society has moved from its hunter-gatherer mode of being, where everybody in the tribe could do the same job, to interdependence, the development of individual skills, it has allowed society to grow and flourish as a unit. That happened over a long period of time. However, we now take it for granted. We go to the supermarket and buy goods that were made by lots of different people, from lots of different places across the world, and think nothing of it. We don't imagine the amount of people and work it takes to get a simple product like orange juice onto our shelves. Our social structures have grown to include countries, organizations, family states, legal codes, crime and punishment laws, political parties, religious groups, and migration. We have also formed social identities and titles such as mother, father, brother, sister, builder, accountant, shop assistant, plumber, etc., where we are expected to perform certain duties in a certain acceptable manner. If we don't conform to them, we face social exclusion or even the brunt of the law. Crime is not down to whether you think something should be a crime or not. It is a collective decision. We don't even notice most of these social constructs since we have been born into them and grow up as a part of them. It can be like asking a fish, "Where is the sea?" We don't think about them until we don't like some part of them. They are independent of the individual and appear to have a life of their own. How can we find and live out our individuality in all of the above? Is it even possible? Does it leave us feeling constrained and unhappy with our personal development as a unique person with unique gifts? Are there times when we feel like a hamster on a wheel, running in circles to achieve things that others want for us more than we want for ourselves? How can we find what we are capable of? In the old model, our sense of identity was something that was given to us. You knew who you were. You had a clear sense of belonging. You had a sense of being rooted. And you had a sense of continuity. You had less freedom, but more certainty. You knew what kind of work you would do because that was the work your family did. If your father was a tradesman, then you would be a tradesman also. If your father was a doctor, then that is what you were expected to do. There were rules, duties, and obligations. It was clarity and certainty. All the big decisions were made for you. You were rarely alone, but barely free. You got your happiness or sense of well-being from doing the things that were expected of you. You were happy if you could provide well for your family. If you could take care of your loved ones, if you were an upstanding person in your community, and if people acknowledged you and respected you, then you felt happy. The key words in that society were security, stability, commitment, safety, and dependability. The rules were clear. In the new model, we moved to a system where the individual became the center and not the community. We experience a lot more freedom, but with it comes a lot more uncertainty and a lot more self-doubt. In the old model, we could build self-esteem easier. There was an established route for that. However, in the new system, we experience a lot more self-doubt. We're only learning the route. We have to make the big decisions ourselves. Yes, there is more choice, but more pressure to make good decisions without the certainty that our decisions will be good or right. The old protocols, the "this is how we do it" part of the community, have been pulled down. The plumb lines of religious morals, of respect for teachers, police, and authority in general, have been uprooted. Each person is now expected to position their own moral plumb line, choose their own gender, their own spiritual beliefs, their own level of education, and their own career life path. We now have the impression of more freedom than before. The rules, the clarity, the duty, and the obligations have all been replaced by choice and options, and the certainty has been replaced by uncertainty and self-doubt. We want to innovate and explore. We want adventure and excitement. We want to be an individual and be recognized as one. It takes a lot of work now to define who we are. Our self-definition, which is part of our identity formation, leaves us wondering, who am I? What am I? Am I what I want to be? Am I where I want to be? Am I good enough? Could I be more? Could I be better? We want to be individuals, but we realize that the structure in our society pulls us in defined directions. Yes, we can choose to go our own path, however. We also want to connect with other people and be recognized as someone who plays their part in the whole. We want purpose and meaning in our lives. Your purpose uses different methods to catch your attention. When Moses went up onto Mount Sinai, he was surprised to see a burning bush. The reason Moses looked was his attention was attracted by the fire. It shone out for him. He had a desire to satisfy his curiosity, so he walked towards the bush. He then discovered the real meaning of why he was there. His purpose was to meet with God. If you were to see your purpose first, it might well frighten you away. When you come to the realization that you are not being yourself, you are not being authentic to your inner desires, and you start to question yourself about that, you wonder why it takes so long to figure yourself out. You ask, who am I, and what do I want from my life? Many times we try to figure out those answers through our masks, our me, the parts of us we present to the world, and we cannot find the answers there. Do we live in an illusion based on other people's view of the world as they see it? You ask yourself, what is wrong with me? And you have little trouble coming up with lots of answers. We've been believing the wrong story. Some of the contents of our backpack have been feeding us the wrong information. We need to examine them and consciously choose which ones to keep and which ones to discard. We need to replace them with updated, carefully thought-out content that will positively support us in our decision-making. Our free will choices are too restricted, too narrow. We simply don't know enough yet. We need to search out the questions that will lead us to the right answers. That takes a deliberate effort. Take time to really uncover your deep inner desires. Leave aside the normal barriers to those thoughts like, I'm not educated enough, I'm not rich enough, I don't have enough time, etc. Those thoughts belong to the structure of the society we live in. Stick at it until you have uncovered those desires. Write them down. Now ask yourself, what is between me and the fulfillment of those desires? Take time to learn enough about them and what it would take to bring it into your reality. Then, at least you have some information, knowledge, and understanding to allow you to ask some positive questions. Trust is the active, responsible engagement with the unknown. We must continually learn about ourselves, grow in knowledge of our capabilities and possibilities. We must seek out our understanding of this new model of society, a society that can allow us the freedom we desire, whilst keeping our plumb lines centered on a moral strength and a world that encompasses our individuality. Your mission is looking for you. It is hidden amongst the complexity of the society we live in. We often stand in our own way too. Work to recognize where you do that so you can get out of your own way and let you find you. Comprehension is accessed by a desire to understand more than any level of intelligence. Jim Bolger.